I still remember the first day I stepped into that towering glass building, clutching my thin resume and the hope that this job would finally change my life. My name is Lily. I was 21, broke, scared, and desperate to prove myself. The lobby smelled like money, polished marble, fresh coffee, expensive perfume trailing from women in sharp heels. I felt like an intruder in a world I did not belong to. Yet that morning I told myself I would belong here one day, no matter what it took. Harry, the boss everyone whispered about, was nothing like I had imagined. I expected some middle-aged, tired executive, but instead I saw a man barely older than me, maybe 24, 25, tall, broad-shouldered, with a gaze that could cut through steel. His first words to me were not kind. "You're late by 2 minutes," he said coldly, glancing at his watch, even though I was exactly on time. His voice had that icy authority that made the whole floor go silent when he spoke. People said he was ruthless, a perfectionist, someone who chewed employees up and spat them out. That first week I believed every word. Then there was Ryan. 22, charming, always with that disarming smile that made you feel like the only person in the room. He was the kind of colleague everyone liked, helpful, polite, the type who remembers how you take your coffee. The first time he handed me a stack of reports with a wink and said, "Don't worry, I'll cover for you if Harry snaps again," my heart softened. I thought maybe he was my ally in this battlefield disguised as an office. Days turned into weeks. The workload was brutal. Harry demanded perfection, not a comma out of place, not a single missed deadline. People whispered that he fired an entire team last year because their project missed a target by 1%. I hated him for it, or at least I thought I did. But every now and then I caught him watching me, not with cruelty, but with something unreadable in his eyes. One late evening, when the rain hammered the city and most of the office was empty, he walked past my desk, saw me struggling with a spreadsheet, and without a word placed a cup of coffee next to my hand. No comment, no smirk, just coffee. I didn't know what to make of it. Ryan, on the other hand, was easy to read. He made me laugh during lunch breaks, remembered my birthday when no one else did, walked me to the bus stop when shifts ran too late. Slowly, I let my guard down. Slowly, I started believing that maybe, just maybe, there was someone in this cold company who genuinely cared about me. The first time Ryan asked me out, I hesitated. "Harry won't like this," I said half-jokingly, and Ryan chuckled. "Harry doesn't run our hearts, Lily." I wanted to believe him. Our first date was simple, a tiny coffee shop near the office, warm lights, cinnamon in the air. For a while I forgot about deadlines, about unpaid bills, about the way Harry's eyes followed me like shadows. For a while I felt like a normal girl falling for a normal boy. Weeks passed and our secret turned into something real. We weren't hiding it anymore. People in the office whispered, some smiled, some smirked. Harry said nothing. His silence was worse than any scolding. One morning I entered the conference room and felt his gaze burn through me as Ryan pulled out a chair. There was something in that look, cold, calculating, as if he knew where this was going long before I did. I should have noticed the cracks sooner. The late-night texts Ryan didn't answer. The sudden meetings he had to run to, the smell of a different perfume on his jacket once. But love makes you blind, and I was already too deep. Until that night, until the rain. It was supposed to be our night. Ryan had promised dinner after work. I dressed up, even put on lipstick, and waited by the coffee shop we loved. But as I approached, umbrella shaking in the storm, I froze. Through the fogged glass I saw him, Ryan, his hands tangled in someone else's hair, his lips on hers, his smile the same one he once gave me. My heart stopped, then cracked, then shattered into something I didn't recognize. I ran. I don't remember if the umbrella flew away or if the rain soaked me completely. I just remember running through the streets, tears mixing with rain, lights blurring into rivers of red and gold. I didn't see the car, didn't see the puddle, didn't see anything until I collided with someone, hard, solid, warm. Hands caught me before I hit the ground. "Lily," the voice was familiar, low, steady. "Harry." For the first time since I met him, there was no ice in his eyes, only concern. "What happened?" he asked, his hand still on my arm, rain dripping from his hair, his expensive coat already ruined. I wanted to say nothing, to keep the humiliation locked inside, but something in me broke open. I told him everything, the lies, the coffee shop, the kiss I was never supposed to see. Harry listened, really listened. He didn't interrupt. When I finished, shivering, drenched, broken, he simply said, "Come with me." That night changed everything. Not because he offered pity, but because in that moment I realized who had been watching all along. Not with cruelty, with intention. And for the first time, I wondered, what happens when the man you thought was your enemy becomes the only one you can trust? The next morning the office felt colder than usual. My clothes were still damp from the night before, and my heart felt like a stone lodged in my chest. Ryan hadn't called, not a single message, not even a lie to soften the truth. The image of him kissing that girl replayed in my mind like a cruel movie on repeat. I thought I would break again the moment I saw him, but when the elevator doors opened and I stepped out, I felt something else instead, not sadness, not even anger. A strange kind of calm, a quiet storm waiting to break. Harry was already in the hallway speaking to a group of executives. His eyes found mine instantly. There was no coldness now, no sarcasm, just that same unreadable intensity from last night. He didn't say a word as I passed, but I felt his gaze follow me, steady and deliberate. Ryan came in late, laughing at something on his phone. "Hey, Lil," he started, but I walked past him without a word. The look on his face, confusion, then annoyance, told me everything. He wasn't sorry, he wasn't even planning to be. The day dragged on, every email and meeting like a battlefield. Harry called me into his office after lunch. My hands trembled as I stepped inside, half expecting a lecture about productivity or some impossible new task. Instead, he gestured to the chair across from his desk. "Sit," he said. His voice was calm, but his eyes were sharp. "Tell me exactly what happened." I hesitated. Talking about personal matters in the boss's office felt like a trap, but something about the way he leaned forward, elbows on the desk, made me speak. I told him everything again, this time slower, each word like a stone I was laying down between us. When I finished, there was a silence heavy enough to crush a room. "He humiliated you," Harry finally said, not a question, a statement, "in my company." I didn't know what to say. Was it his business? Did he even care? Before I could answer, he leaned back. "People like him," he said, "they think kindness is a mask to wear until they get what they want. Then they drop it." "Why do you care?" I whispered. His eyes didn't flinch. "Because I've built this place with rules, and one of them is loyalty." That word echoed in my chest. The following days blurred into a quiet tension. Ryan tried to corner me in the break room in the hallway, sent me messages with fake apologies and even faker excuses. I ignored them all. And Harry watched. Not in the way he used to, waiting for me to make a mistake, but in the way someone watches a storm to decide when to move. On Friday, the storm came. Harry called a staff meeting. The room was full, managers, assistants, even the interns standing by the wall. Ryan stood near the front, a smirk on his face, probably thinking this was just another announcement about quarterly goals. But when Harry spoke, the air shifted. "This company doesn't tolerate betrayal," he said simply. His eyes flicked to me, then back to the crowd. "When you hurt someone who works here, you hurt this company." Whispers started. Ryan's smirk faltered. Harry turned to him. "Ryan, pack your things." The room went silent. Ryan stammered, "Wait, what, you can't?" "I can," Harry said, his voice like a blade. "I've read your messages, I've seen the reports. You've been leaking client data to impress someone outside this company, and you've been using employees for your own games." It was like watching a building collapse in slow motion. Ryan's face drained of color. "That's not true," he shouted, but no one believed him. The evidence was already on the screen behind Harry, emails, screenshots the night at the cafe. Harry didn't just fire him. He burned the bridge behind him and salted the earth. Ryan was escorted out that afternoon, shouting threats that echoed in the hallway. I watched from my desk, heart pounding, hands clenched so tight my nails dug into my skin. Part of me felt satisfaction. Another part felt fear, because this wasn't just justice. This was power. Later that night, as the office emptied and the city lights flickered like cold stars, Harry appeared at my desk again. "Walk with me," he said. We ended up on the rooftop, wind whipping my hair, the skyline stretching endless around us. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. Then he said, "I didn't do this for pity." I turned to him. "Then why?" His jaw tightened. "Because I don't like seeing good people crushed by liars, and because I see something in you, Lily." The way he said my name sent a shiver down my spine. There was no smile, no soft confession, just raw honesty. And in that moment, for the first time, I wondered what it would mean to stand beside him instead of against him. The office never felt the same after Ryan's departure. The whispers faded, the curious stares stopped, but the tension lingered like smoke after a fire. Some nights I still heard his voice in my head, the fake apologies, the sweet lies. But more than that, I remembered his threats as he was escorted out. "This isn't over, Lily. You'll regret this, you and your precious boss." Weeks passed, work became heavier, deadlines tighter, but there was something different now, Harry. He wasn't the tyrant I once thought he was. He started checking in not as a boss but as someone who listened. Small things, a coffee on my desk before a long meeting, a late-night email reminding me to rest. It felt dangerous, unfamiliar, and yet safe. Then one cold evening my phone buzzed, an unknown number. I hesitated, answered, silence at first, then a low chuckle. "Miss me?" Ryan's voice, my stomach turned to ice. "You think you've won? You think because you got me fired I'm gone? No, Lily, I've got something better. I've got dirt on him." My grip tightened on the phone. "What are you talking about?" "Your precious Harry," he sneered. "He's not who you think he is, and when I'm done, both of you will go down." The line went dead. I couldn't sleep that night. The rain tapped against my window like a warning. Part of me wanted to ignore it, move on, let karma deal with Ryan. But another part, the part that had been humiliated, broken, wanted to strike first, wanted to finish this. The next day I told Harry everything. His expression didn't change, but his hands clenched slightly as I spoke. "He's trying to pull you into his mess," Harry said. "Don't let him." "But what if he—" "He won't," he interrupted, "because we're going to end this." For the first time I saw the full force of the man behind the strict rules and sharp suits. Harry wasn't just a boss, he was a strategist, and he had a plan. We traced Ryan's moves, the fake accounts, the leaks he'd started spreading about the company, the emails he tried to forge. Harry's legal team worked quietly, efficiently, while I played my part, feeding Ryan just enough attention to make him think he was winning. Every message I replied to, every breadcrumb I left was a trap tightening around him. 2 weeks later, the hammer fell. Ryan was arrested for corporate theft and blackmail. The very girl I'd seen him with in that cafe, she testified against him. His dirt on Harry turned out to be fabricated, a desperate attempt to drag someone down with him. And when the police led him away, shouting and spitting curses, I didn't feel pity this time, only closure. That night, Harry called me to his office again. The city was quiet outside, the kind of silence that comes after a storm. He poured 2 glasses of wine, something he never did before, and handed me one. "You handled yourself well," he said, "better than most." I laughed softly, a bitter edge to it. I didn't feel strong. "You were," he said simply. "You faced betrayal, humiliation, and you didn't let it break you. That's rare." There was a pause, his eyes, usually so cold, softened. "Lily, I know I've been harsh. I built this company by being strict, by keeping walls up. But somewhere in the middle of this chaos, I started looking at you differently." My heart skipped. "Harry." He stepped closer, slow, deliberate, like a man who had made up his mind long before speaking. "You don't have to answer now. I just want you to know I'm not like him. I don't play games." For the first time in months I smiled, a real one. Weeks turned into months. The office thrived, scandals faded, and one rainy evening, not unlike the one that started it all, Harry walked me home. This time when he reached for my hand, I didn't pull away. The world had tried to break me, but instead it gave me something unexpected. Revenge and a chance to start over.